Do you want them? You don't die at all.
You just got your braces up. I was eating everything in sight when that happened. I don't have to worry about things getting in no way.
I mean, that wasn't the reason.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Yeah, I think there's somebody else.
I think it's just you three.
Oh wait, never mind. Lie.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be in the video too?
Am I gonna be? No, so I'm gonna be sitting back here, and I've got basically, the idea is people can chat in questions. I'll read them out loud to you guys, and you guys can answer them. Pretty cool. Yeah.
Hey.
So, I attempted to make nameplates for you. Just check, make sure that those are correct information on them. I can edit them. If they're not.
How's your mom? She's doing pretty good. My cousin was talking to us yesterday, or talking to me. I went to listen to Ben Shapiro talk, and like shared some things in our family group chat, and then my cousin sent me a Snapchat and said, "You went to see Ben Shapiro with like this big grin and like things coming out," and my dad's like, "Is he being sarcastic?" And I was like, "Dad, no, he's not being sarcastic."
Name tags.
I was gonna put them right in the front.
Like tape
We
them
can
to the
tape 'em?
front?
We can
I
tape them
got
to the front, or we can just fold them. So,
That's weird. Let me get
yeah.
How's your brother doing? DBA, right?
Yep, he just did his little crossing for Kappa.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah, so we got to go down there 2 weekends ago and see him cross. And my dad got to be able to take his mask off for the date and everything. So my mom got all emotional. She has expressed her discontent with us posting his pictures with him and his mean face. He's like, he's not a mean boy. He's nice. Stop posting that picture. But yeah, he's doing good. He's doing good. It's nice to hear him like not be just straight exhausted all the time that I talk to him on the phone and laughing and that stuff. It's been a long time.
How are you? Yeah, Laura's gone. Drink. Drink. And if you have to pee over the next hour, you just sit there. Put it down on the floor beside you. Can you see the names?
Yep.
Okay.
It's like just barely visible, but it's enough. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take your green off, please, and your sweater, yes.
You can see there's a picture there, but you can't really and we should be good. So,
Good morning. My name is Beth Watford. I am the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs in the College of Engineering here at Virginia Tech. We want to welcome you to this live streaming event. This is the first time we've tried anything like this. I'm a graduate of Virginia Tech. I got my undergraduate and graduate degrees here, and I've worked here for over 20 years. So you can tell I really like the university. I really like the College of Engineering. I really like Blacksburg. These students have gotten up early on a Saturday morning to help talk to you about Virginia Tech, and I'm going to go ahead and turn everything over to them. So thank you.
cool. So if you guys on the panel want to introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about yourselves, like name, major, why you chose Virginia Tech, any activities you're involved with here. Just let us know. So.
I'll go. My name's Alex Gibson. I'm a sophomore in biological systems engineering. I chose Virginia Tech because it had the biomed minor with the biological systems major, so I thought that would be a good combo when I enter the workforce. And one of the organizations that I'm really passionate about is College Mentors for Kids. It's when we bring local students to the campus, we expose them to different majors and different activities you can do at Blacksburg.
Hello, I'm Bemnet Molla. I'm a sophomore in mechanical engineering. Aside from being a student, I'm also an undergrad researcher at the Advanced Vehicle Dynamics Lab. Along with that, I also work with the Galpatia community and the CEED program. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Amanda Welch. I am in industrial systems engineering in my 4th year, but I'll be taking a 5th year because I love this school so much. And I am an RA in the engineering residence hall on campus. I work with the Hypatia community. I'm also an exec board member for NSBE, which is the National Society of Black Engineers, and it keeps me pretty busy here. So.
Cool. So why'd you guys wind up at Virginia Tech? Like, what was it about this place that made you love it so much and come here? So.
Personally, for me, it was the opportunities. I remember, I want to say my second or third visit, I talked to undergrad who was doing undergrad research, and he told me about all the different things and all the different labs you can be a part of. And I didn't want to just be a student and focus on like the classes I was taking. I wanted to be a part of something like I can apply myself to. I was really heavy in that in high school, and the fact that this was the only school that talked about their undergrad research, every chance they got, I chose to go with this place.
Well, most of my family, we don't really have any ties to Virginia, so I was just applying to see where I got in. But when I was applying to Tech, they were always like constantly in contact with me, trying to see what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go. And they kept pushing the idea that you would be employed. Like if you get in the right contacts and you do the right things, you'll be employed when you graduate. And that was one of my biggest fears, is not getting a job once I graduated. I wanted to go to Tech like immediately after I came for a visit, and I actually got to see Dr. Watford talk. She reminded me of my mom, and that was really awesome. And my mom was like, I like her too. And I was like, well, if mom likes her, well, then this might be a place that I can fit in. And then I came to a weekend where I got to stay with a student called Gateway and fell in love with the campus even more. I bought a t-shirt and a lanyard and told my dad I put money into the school. I'm obviously going now. And then I spent a summer at Tech in the STEP program and really just fell in love with the CEED community and how much support I received from the students and the administration. I felt like I was going to be looked after when I got here. I was going to be taken care of. I was going to matter at Virginia Tech. I wasn't just going to be a number, even though this was a really big school.
Cool. So speaking of the STEP program, that's one of our great CEED programs. Would you be able to talk to us a little bit more about STEP and some of your experiences with that program?
Yeah, it was the summer before my freshman year, and it was, I think, 5 weeks during the summer. You took 4 classes. It was your general chemistry class, your Calc 1 class, and your intro to engineering class, and then a chem lab. And it really gives you a chance to kind of jump in feet first to engineering, and then any of your mistakes really don't matter on your final transcripts, which was awesome because I failed like 2 classes. I got a D in one and a B in the other. And it was a little depressing because I was like, oh no, this engineering thing might not be like for me. But that happened to a lot of people, and it was just getting used to college level work and the college level pacing of classes, and STEP really gave you a chance to do that in a controlled environment with a giant group of people that were either in engineering at that time or were trying to get into engineering. We had RAs who were students on campus who had been at Virginia Tech for like a year or 2 years at that point, who really kind of got to give us the good, the bad, and the ugly of everything at Tech and in the engineering department, and that was really beneficial. It also was like tied extremely closely to Dr. Wofford, and she would come in and check on us and give us words of wisdom like every couple of days. Like arrive 15 minutes early to everything just so you don't have any issues with timing. And those like lessons that I learned at STEP and the friends that I made at STEP are literally the friends that I have had and the lessons that I still follow to this day. And I've been here now, this is my 8th semester at Tech, and I like had lunch with one of my friends from STEP yesterday. So it was an integral part of my success here at Tech.
That's pretty cool. So that's the Student Transitions to Engineering program. It's for students who, they want to learn more about the life in the College of Engineering, or we also have the opportunity for students to use it to get into the College of Engineering. So overall, great experience, and we are accepting applications for it right now. So encourage you to look out for information about that and apply. So it's actually another one for you, Amanda, as well. So you said you're a member of NSBE. Would you be able to talk a little bit about NSBE?
Yeah, NSBE is the National Society for Black Engineers, and it is one of the, I think, 4 different organizations that that are under or adjacent to the CEED office. I know there's also SWE, which is the Society for Women Engineers, and 2 other ones. But NSBE is really, again, just like another support system that has helped me. There's not a lot of African Americans that go to Tech in general, and there's even a smaller number who are in the engineering department. And it kind of like attracts all of them to one place and reminds you that even though you might not see us all at the same time, we're still there. We're still going through the same kind of struggles, having the same kind of apprehensions about our classes and our lives here at Tech. And it's really just a chance to come together and figure out how we want to challenge ourselves, excel academically, and positively impact our communities.
Cool. So I know, Bemnet, you're a member of Galileo, right? Are you a member of Hypatia? Or would you two be able to talk a little bit about the Galileo and Hypatia communities and some of your experiences there and how it's quite a bit different from the normal college experience? So
I'll talk about Hypatia. When I was first going into it, I did not want to live there. I was like, why would I want to live in a dorm full of engineers? But that was probably like the best decision I made my freshman year. Coming in, I thought I was ready for college, but just being on like the same floor with everyone who was struggling together, because like I don't know how to code. I'm still learning how to code. And then the coding assignments, we'd be up in the hallway, a group effort, trying to get the assignment done. So I feel like that, just the support of knowing that like you're not struggling alone, being in the community, and then like even going to the Hypatia class, and they help you with your resume, like your cover letter, and then just reaching out to companies. I feel like that was just like beneficial overall. And then as like a second year, I'm a mentor, so we're able to help the incoming freshmen who are in the same place that we were last year. And I just feel like overall it's helped me grow as a person, and knowing that like I'm not in this alone. I definitely have a community behind me.
I'm in the Galileo program. Again, with like Alex was saying, it was probably the best decision I made as a freshman to be in that community, live in that building with all other engineers. It definitely helped me a lot. I did do the STEP program coming into my freshman year, and the friends I made in that program also did Galileo with me, and we took our friendship and made more friendship in that community. And I mean, as a sophomore now, like I keep up with all of them, and we work together on assignments, and it really just helps build a network with other engineers that you can work with and also have friendships with. And as a second year, I'm also a mentor to 5 male engineers, where I just help them out, guide them through the struggles of freshman year and how to apply themselves further in not just academics but anything they want to do. I also serve on the academic committee, so we hold weekly tutoring sessions in pretty much every subject you can possibly take as a freshman, and then we also hold review sessions before any of your big tests and help you out with that. Make sure you know the basics and also the, I guess, nitty-gritty stuff about the test you need to know when you go into it.
Pretty cool. Are any of you involved with any other mentoring programs on campus? Or just, yeah, well,
I'm an RA. It's kind of like a mentoring thing in Lee. I guess the biggest thing for RAs is making sure your residential life is as fulfilling as your academic life on campus. I was up late last night doing a bulletin board and making sure there's information that my residents can read and actually take to heart and learn something from it. I currently serve on like a quarter half of the building, and I have, I think 32 residents that I reside over, and it was intimidating the first time. This is my second year being an RA. It was intimidating the first time because I was like, I don't know how my girls are going to respond to me. I don't know if I'm going to like be their like best friend or their worst enemy, or their mom or their sister. I don't know which role I'm going to fit into, and you really end up fitting into all of those roles at one point or another. You fill a lot of hats, and somehow all those hats fit into an RA hat, and it's taught me a lot about being adaptable. Not every resident needs you as much as other residents do. That is great. Some residents are really hands off, and I don't have to deal with them a lot. Like, she is my resident. She's totally just like autonomous, and I don't have to do anything. And she works completely well with everybody. But then there's other people who are just like, I just need a little bit more guidance, and that's okay. I love being that person that somebody can come to and talk to. I love sharing my role or my story with my residents because I'm so much older than a lot of them. I've been around the block. I've been here for a while. I've taken most of the classes, most if not all of the classes that my residents have taken, and a lot of them are struggling with classes, and they can't see past this class. It's like the most important thing or the most detrimental thing to their future at the moment, and letting them know that you can crash and burn and still be able to do great things at Virginia Tech. Like, repeating classes is not the worst thing in the world. I repeated a class 4 times, and somehow I am still doing well at Virginia Tech. So being able to like share that with residents and put them at ease with academic things or residential things that happen with roommate situations and other things like that, or just personal things.
cool. So I guess all you guys are involved with Galileo Hypatia in some way or another. Have you guys had any chances to do any sort of unusual events or anything you may not have normally done as a college student did programs? Or because I know they plan like a number of like social activities, service activities. You'll talk about that at all, or
Well, I'm on the outreach committee, so we do a lot of like outreach in the community. So I know first semester I organized a robotics event for Girl Scouts. So we brought them on campus. We taught them how to code with the Lego Mindstorms, which is something I've never even worked with, but I was able to like figure out the coding language and then explain it to like 7 and 8 year olds. And then just on like I think it was Thursday, I went to an elementary school and we taught a group of 4th and 5th graders how to use a 3D printer and how to draw in a 3D drawing program. So that's pretty unusual.
As part of the academic committee, we have to hold review sessions, and I guess reflecting on who I was in high school and coming in as a freshman, I did not think I could like stand in front of a group of 30 to 60 people and give a lecture. So that has definitely helped me, improve myself as a person and realize a lot of people learn in different ways. So, I mean, that's one thing Alopecia has definitely like instilled in me.
I'm on the RA side of the committees, so there's like I think 2 or 3 RAs that are assigned to each different group, and I'm with the social committee. And I love the fact because I was in professional development last year, and it's a really big switch to be in the social committee. It's a little less strict. There's a lot more wiggle room in terms of what events you can put on. But I like the fact that our social committee is very socially aware and very socially conscious and wants to tackle social issues in a social way or a fun way, so that heavy topics that we encounter on a daily basis aren't as intimidating for people, giving people a space that is welcoming and non-confrontational to come and discuss their ideas and to learn about other people's ideas and other people's viewpoints is really great. And I think it's a tool that everybody could use later in life. And it's awesome seeing the younger generations of engineers in Lee get to learn how to do that and learn how to do it really well. Hopefully that they're taking those tools and applying them in their smaller circles around campus, which is our goal. But it's great. We did like this event where we had everybody's like all these different cultures represented, and it was like, I forget the name of it, but it was like around the world type thing, and people got to bring different food from different places or wherever, whatever place represents them, and just talk about like the food that their place, what it means to them. And I ate so much food that day. It was so good, and I was like, I would never have gotten to eat food from so many different countries in such a short time span ever in my life. So that was really interesting, and it was really fun to get to interact with all these different cultures.
Very cool. Would you able to talk a little bit more about Lee Hall, like some of our, like the studio spaces, for example, and how we have all the different communities in Lee Hall together?
Yeah. We, as an RA, like I have to be aware of everything, and it's a little hard because there's so much going on in Lee. There are 4 main communities. 2 are for the engineering department, and 2 are for other sciences. So there's Curie and Da Vinci, which are life and physical sciences, and then there's engineering people. So that's Hypatia and Galileo. And you hear the 2 names mixed together. There's Curvinci, which is Da Vinci and Curie, and there's Galipatia, which is Galileo and Hypatia. I'm not going to tell you how long it took for me to understand that those weren't third communities on both sides, but that's a different story. And then from those communities, there are there's like GLT members, which are like older people in the communities who help run everything. We have 2 studio spaces, which Dr. Wofford really kind of championed that ship. She had a bunch of rooms on a certain level in the building on the 2nd level and just had them knocked out so we could build 2 studio spaces. So one is more of a I guess a classroom type space, and it's like a giant printer in there for you to do whatever you want, like print big projects. I didn't think people could actually print big projects, or they would have a need to, but there are people using that machine all the time, and I still have not learned how to use it. And then there's the other studio space, which has, like, what does that room have?
It has like 3D printers, laser cutters.
Yeah.
Every tool you could ever
Any tool you could ever ask for, and it is like they trust us enough to have all of that in our like living space, which is pretty awesome. Like other people have to go to an academic building to get their hands on all that good stuff, and we have it like I literally have it below me from where I sit in Lee. So that is, I think, an awesome part of Lee. It's just like one part of a very dynamic community, a very dynamic living space. We have places where you can go and learn, and we have places where you can just go and hang out and chill, which is like the 2nd floor lounge, big chill spot. It's also a big homework spot. It also has a kitchen, and there are people cooking there at all hours. Trust me, I go on rounds at like 12:30 at night, and there are people making cookies and doing other things in there. So it's really awesome to see everybody like just existing in the space and using it how
they need to in their lives. It's great to see everybody just be able to get so much out of one building. But that's so possible because there's so much stuff in there. There's just so many opportunities, so many objects to just tinker around with.
Cool. So, have you guys had any sort of professional experiences, and then how has being part of CEED helped out with that? Or...
Okay. Well, I have been on 2 internships. And I got my first internship, I got on my own, and it was with WMATA, which is the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority, and I worked as a civil engineering intern there. So that was really cool. I got to work in DC for a summer, and the pay was really good. That's an awesome part about being an engineer. We don't do work for free, apparently, ever, unless you're like doing stuff on campus and it's for experience purposes. But yeah, my first internship was really awesome in DC. And then through NSBE, I went to a regional conference and got my second internship at John Deere. John Deere, and I got placed in Waterloo, Iowa, which I could not place on a map before that time. And I remember getting a call from my uncle who lives in New York City and was like, do you know it takes like 45 minutes to get to like the nearest highway from where you are? And I was like, oh gosh, they put me out in like the middle of nowhere. But it was an amazing experience. I think I loved that internship more than I liked my first one. It was more in tune with what I wanted to do. Not saying that the first one wasn't great. That's an awesome part about internships. You take an opportunity and an experience, and you learn. If you don't learn what you like to do, you learn what you don't like to do. And that internship helped me pick industrial and systems engineering. And then the John Deere internship, I got assigned to be a quality engineer, and that helped me choose like what I wanted to like concentrate on in my major. So I now know I'm probably not going to be doing research in industrial and systems engineering. Don't really like it. I really like looking at stuff that's already made and telling somebody what's wrong with it and thinking about how to fix it. So I'm like continuous improvement stuff. I'm not really a design person. I'm more in like the managerial side and the manufacturing side of industrial and systems. And I would have never known that if I hadn't gone to that internship and if I hadn't gone to that NSBE conference, which is part of the CEED department. So
yeah, would you able to talk a little bit more about like the opportunity to go to like conferences through NSBE or?
That is, I think it's such an experience, and if you are part of one of those organizations, it's go to at least, I'm just saying at least one of them. I go to more of them if you can. There's so many chances for you to get the costs taken care of, like through scholarships at the different companies that NSBE works with. They, I know, sponsor us, and they put on scholarships so that people can apply for them and then possibly get like their whole like travel and stuff funded. NSBE does a lot of offsetting the cost by fundraising and our sponsorships, but there is some money that you're going to have to put up for it to go to these conferences. But I'm broke all the time. So if I was going to a conference, it was probably under like $50 that the cost of me like going for a weekend. And you get to go to these conferences and just network with all these different companies and all these different people. And National Society of Black Engineers does not mean it's just a bunch of Black people in the room. I know that is the image that I had in my head when I heard. But granted, there is a large number of Black people there, but there's white people and Asian people and all other ethnicities. All you have to do is really to be a part of NSBE is commit to the fact that, or really, I guess, agree with the fact that diversity enhances the engineering field. And if that is your mindset, then we'd love to have you, and any other group in the CEED department would love to have you. So with that in mind, like you just go to these conferences and you meet all these new people who also have that same mindset, that diversity is just a really integral part of a successful engineering team or business or corporation. And you just network all day and you get so many contacts, so many opportunities. I think I got like 4 interviews on my first time going to regional conference, and that was after my sophomore year, and I was like, I don't really know how to engineer yet. I don't really know how to do that yet. But no, like you get all this like these chances to just prove your stuff, and I actually did know a lot of engineering stuff. Like tech had actually prepared me pretty well to be productive in that space, which was awesome. And I got to go to Iowa and show what I could do and how I could be productive and an integral part of their team, and got an offer to come back the next year. So
It's pretty cool. So I know in general, a lot of our CEED programs do have a strong professional development or sort of aspect to those programs. Do you guys be able to talk about some of your experiences in that regard?
Okay, I'll go. Freshman year, we have this like every year they do this thing called Expo, and it's the big like engineering career thing. And I was terrified, but Hypatia was like, "You're going. You have to go. You have to get exposure. You have to go talk to companies." And me being a freshman, I was like, I don't know anything. I'm barely passing calc. I don't think they want me. But like that prepared me to like be able to constantly walk up to anyone and then tell them like why they should hire me. So I feel like just like pushing you and making you do something that you don't want to do, something that like Galopatia, the CEED program, is really good at.
For me, yeah, CEED is heavy on professional development, and they walked me through the process of acquiring undergrad research. There's a lot of labs or Virginia Tech has a lot of graduate level research labs, and there's actually a whole area, like a humongous, I guess, field dedicated to buildings just for research. And they also have some on campus and places even outside of that center. But they ran me through the process of how to find what you're interested in and how to go about talking to the research scientists in that lab, or even the professor, the doctor who runs that lab on campus. And I reached out to one that I found using their, I guess, like searching tools. They ran me through the process. I emailed them. It was a semester of just constantly emailing this man and being persistent about it, because they are busy people, and she taught me like you have to be patient and you have to show them you are persistent and you really want to work with them and for them. So after a whole semester of consistently emailing them, they finally gave me an opportunity to, I guess, interview with them. And after the first interview, they offered me the position, and now I work with the Advanced Vehicle Dynamics Lab. So, I mean, that's just one aspect. And other aspects, they always have events where they teach you how to be not just an engineer, but a professional engineer. There's a distinct difference between both of those. Just being an engineer means you know how to solve problems. Being a professional engineer means you know how to present your solution in a very effective way. So, I mean, I definitely love all they do to make sure we become professional engineers.
I definitely have CEED's. I think one of CEED's mottos is becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable situation, because you are going to be thrown in uncomfortable situations your entire life. And CEED's just driving like lessons is just, we're going to throw you into all these uncomfortable situations that you're going to have to deal with later, and you're going to hate us for it, but we're okay. Like, that's okay. We'll take the hate as long as you become like this awesome person later. And it's really what it becomes. Like the residents that I know that have done Hypatia and have come out the other side, a majority of them that I've talked to are like, yeah, I really did not want to do like a majority of the stuff that CEED or Hypatia had me doing, and I was really scared to do a lot of it, but it was super helpful later down the road. It was super helpful. I still use what I learned in the Hypatia class, like in my classes afterwards. And professional development, I think, is just a key thing in the CEED department. There's so many, I guess, professionals that we get to interact with in the CEED department on a daily basis. So we see examples of that in our faces all the time, and it just gives us great examples to work towards. And I don't think CEED really, I don't want to give the impression that CEED just throws all these opportunities in your face. They give you the tools to go out and seek your own opportunities and to like make your own, I guess, chances. They provide you with so many tools so that you can be as awesome as you want to be. And I think that's part of the professional development too. Like, there's going to be opportunities, but you need to be able to like access them and go out and get them. And C does a great job of preparing you for that.
Cool. So, actually, I was hoping we could talk just a little bit more about Engineering Expo. So maybe explain what Engineering Expo is and talk a little bit about their experiences there.
Engineering Expo, Amanda went into it a little bit earlier, but it's just, and Alex, but it's just a day, 2 days actually, where numerous engineering companies come onto campus, and you go with your resume all dressed up nicely, and you talk with them and try to present them as the best candidate for all the positions they're offering. In my experience, I have not been successful with Expo, but it's not something to hold yourself down about. It's just I'm working on presenting myself in a way that will get me a call back, or that seems ideal for what they're looking for. And that's part of what CEED is trying to do. Like, if you're not successful the first time, you don't just quit. You keep going back. And every year I've only been here 2 years, but there's one fall semester and spring semester. But every time I have gone back, I feel as though I am getting better. Hopefully next year, when that event does come around, I get something. But as an undergrad researcher, I love that. So like right now, I'm focusing all my attention on that. But Expo is a place where you can look for opportunities for your future.
Pretty cool. Actually, I was going to ask another question. You sort of segued into it. If you talk a little bit more about your undergrad research experiences here.
Like I said earlier, I work in the Advanced Vehicle Dynamics lab. Sounds pretty fancy, and actually it is. Right now I'm working with the suspension system of a truck. There's a lot of projects going on there, and as an undergrad, since I guess I don't know enough of what they're doing, they just have me working on several projects at one time. Actually, Thursday evening I finished one project in containing an electric cabinet and not letting the magnetic field escape from the doors, which seems pretty cool.
Oh my god.
So they actually gave me all the responsibility and complete control of the project. They gave me a budget. I ordered the parts, installed them. So, like, I'm sure every lab is, or I don't want to say I'm sure every lab is like this, but they're there to help you excel. They know you don't know enough, and they understand that, but they're gonna help you through that process and make sure you're learning what you need to learn. Because in all honesty, every job they give me, they can figure out in like an hour or two, but they don't want to deal with that, so they hand it over to me. And when I come to them with problems, instead of just giving me the answer straight out, they walk me through a process of how to get to the solution. And I think that's the main goal as the undergrad researcher, is not to finish a project, is to learn the steps necessary to get to that solution. And in my lab, I feel like every graduate student, including the professor and the research scientists that work there, they want me to learn problem solving as opposed to just finishing the project. And I mean, I saw that with the project I just finished and with the project I'm just working on, or they just hand it to me. They literally just tell me what to do and leave. Like, figure it out. If you don't, that's fine. Come ask us questions. And when I do come, I'm telling you, they can figure it out within a second. But they sit there and like walk me through a process of how to get to that solution. So I feel like as an undergrad researcher, in my opinion, I get more out of that than going to an internship because of what I want to do in the future. And that's why I'm sticking with this. I eventually do want to work in a lab. After I graduate, I want to get my master's and PhD. So, it's just what you want to do with your future. If you want to work in industry, expo and all that is the way to go. But even if you want to do that, you can be an undergrad researcher because they do give you a lot of experience. I'm learning things I probably will not learn until I graduate. I'm learning how to use tools that I've never thought even existed, programs I didn't even know how to download onto my computer. So it's just the route you want to take. My route leads me to a PhD, so undergrad research is the way I want to go.
Pretty cool. So, sort of changing subject here. Do you guys know like ideas what type of leadership opportunities there are on campus and how you can really get involved? Or, I mean, like, so for example, you're an RA.
Yes. When I say leadership opportunities, I just think of my RA position, and that's the only thing that like comes to my mind because it's just a 24/7 job. And I didn't realize all RAs can say this, they get bogged down in like the day-to-day stuff, and they don't really give themselves the credit that they deserve. Somebody explained to me like in 5 minutes what I do as an RA, and they explained it in such a way where I was like, I'm the bomb. Like I do so much stuff, and I didn't realize that RAs have to be so adaptable, which is companies love that. There are so many things that I do as an RA that I did not know those skills transferred into any job. Um, Engineers have this really depressing stereotype that we just like letting like hold up in a room someplace. We don't like interacting with people and we can't interact with people. And that RAs, like being an RA and being an engineer like helps me be able to like communicate with other people better and also be able to communicate or translate things that I might understand that somebody else who knows nothing about it probably won't understand. That's a really big part I know of industrial and systems engineering. You have to be able to take the really technical information that you're talking about and relay it in a way so that executives of a business can understand and then make their business executive decisions about their company. So my RA job has helped me do that. It's helped me gain confidence to stand in front of a group of people and really kind of establish some rules and boundaries of a space so that we could productively work together in the coming months. It's also helped me problem solve. A leader has to be able to problem solve. They have to be able to be kind of an unbiased like third party in a situation at a lot of times. And if you've ever dealt with a roommate conflict, you know that you cannot just sit there and side with one person all the time because guaranteed they did something wrong too. So it's not, the arguments and issues are not just one-sided, and being an RA has helped me hone those skills. And you're part of a pretty tight-knit community of leaders on campus in HRL, Housing and Residence Life, as an RA. And you kind of dealing with HRL, there's kind of like a hierarchy, and you have to be able to exist in that hierarchy and learn how to play the game as well. And that's the same thing that happens in business. You have a position, and you've got superiors, and you've got people that you might like manage. You have to be able to show the same level of respect to each person and show that even the people that you manage and that you like tell them what to do, I guess, that they're just as important as the person that you report to, and vice versa. Like there's so many things that being an RA has like taught me about being a productive and an effective leader. And that's the only leadership, the only other leadership position that I've had is my executive board member position on NESB, but it's kind of the same thing. So.
For me, leadership. This summer I will be working with a STEP program as the program assistant. So that's just one leadership role I have. The previous summer I worked as an RA, so with everything she described, I've gone through. But that was just for 5 weeks as opposed to 2 whole semesters. But there's a lot of CEED gives you a lot of opportunities to be a leader. And even if you're not gonna be a leader, they give you the tools to learn how to be a leader. And just with STEP, I'm really excited to see what the program assistant role has to offer, and hopefully it teaches me a lot. So.
For me, I feel like Galopecia, the community gives a lot of opportunities to lead. They'll give you like, hey, you need to like lead an academic session, or like you have to go off campus and like lead an outreach event. And you're like, they just give you like, okay, you have to teach your teacher how to use a 3D printer with the software that I've never used before, with different tools, and like you need it done by this day. And they throw you in a classroom with like 30 like fifth graders that all want to touch the computer at that moment and know they all know what they're doing. I feel like that just gives you like they put you in a situation where you need to learn how to like adjust the situation, figure out the best solution, and then go from there. So like I know coming in, I freeze up and I'm like I don't know what I'm doing. What is a 3D printer? How do I look like? What am I doing? But like Thursday, I went in, we broke down the software for each kid, and by the end of the day, like all of them were designing their own house on the program and ready to 3D print that. So I feel like they just give us the tools to they put us in situations that may not be the most comfortable, but at the end of the day, we know like how to like solve the problems.
Pretty cool. So we're gonna start wrapping this up. So sort of one final question here for you guys. If you could share maybe like your favorite experience at Virginia Tech and your favorite thing about Virginia Tech. So
I guess I'll go. I have gone through some of like the best moments of my life and some of the worst moments of my life at Tech, and I have always felt supported in the CEED department. I can always come here and get a sympathetic ear or a helping hand with the people and the administrators here. And they've also always encouraged me to go out and branch out beyond engineering. I'm a theater minor, and I love it. I get to work my left brain in engineering and my right brain in my theater classes. And the CEED has always encouraged me to do that because having like multiple things that you're really good at makes you a more dynamic person, makes you a more dynamic engineer. And they're not just focused on just like engineering all the time. They really take a holistic view of you as a person. And that I think is so important. Like I don't want to just be pigeonholed into one like trade as I'm an engineer. Like CEED really gives you the opportunity to explore all aspects of yourself and really just like push the boundaries of your own expectations. They're really big into like no glass ceilings for anybody here. We want to see you guys thrive and excel all the time.
For me, I wouldn't say there's that one specific moment that's like the best here at Tech. I've surrounded myself with a group of friends that like make my experience like great, and I guess not every single day, like Amanda said, there are bad moments being at Tech. You are a student, so there's stresses of academics you got to deal with, but having that support group with my friends around me has made every single day here enjoyable, even with everything that we go through as students. So I wouldn't say there's that one specific moment. I would just say find that group of friends and you can like enjoy every single day.
Okay, so going off of Bemnet, I think living in a like Hypatia community, I was able to surround myself with friends that were like it was a social aspect, but also like an academic aspect. So I know like final spring semester, we were all like in the lounge doing linear algebra. You're like we have to pass this final. And I just knew at that moment like this was a good group of friends. Like not only are they willing to have fun with me, but they're willing to like go through the struggle of pulling just that one last all-nighter to pass that last final. So I feel like that was just a really big moment for me here at Tech.
I think they also acknowledge that your personal life doesn't stop when you become a student. Like you have an academic life and you have your student life, but you are still a person. You still have an entire like history and a family that is an extension of you someplace else. And the CEED department in Virginia Tech realizes that and really tries to be there and be empathetic to that. So if you have issues, it's really I found it easy to like get help if I'm having like a personal struggle or be able to talk to somebody if I'm having a personal issue. because sometimes it's really hard and sometimes impossible to like do both things at the same time. Sometimes you have to put the school down for a second to deal with a personal issue, and tech and the CEED department understands that and really tries to help you through that.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for getting on here talking to people about Virginia Tech's CEED office. And for anyone who's watching, we're going to sort of go dark here till about 11 o'clock, where we're going to have another panel starting up with some members of our Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. So just stay tuned. And thank you. So we're good.
Good morning. My name is Bev Watt. I am the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs in the College of Engineering at Virginia Tech. I am also the Director of the Center for the Enhancement of Engineering Diversity. I want to welcome you to our recruiting panel. We're trying to convince students that they should choose Virginia Tech for their engineering education. So our students got up early this morning. This is early for them. And I invite you to communicate with them. They're going to introduce themselves and tell you why they chose Virginia Tech for their engineering degree. So,
Hey everyone, my name is Joe Fletcher. I'm a senior here at Virginia Tech studying computer science. I'll be graduating in May and moving to Manhattan to work full time. Let's see, I'm originally from Nova, Northern Virginia, like most students here. And why I came to Virginia Tech was because I knew I wanted to study engineering, and I'm paying for school on my own, so I wanted to make sure I could get the most affordable rates. So in-state tuition was definitely the way to go. So after looking at all the universities in state, picking out the engineering programs that best fit me and visiting the campus, I chose Virginia Tech.
All right, hey guys, my name is Gabriel Miranda. I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm a junior. This summer I'll be interning with GE Aviation up in Cincinnati. I came to Virginia Tech because, it was a great school, but I was really sold when my cousin took me here for a visit. She came here a couple years before me, and just seeing the campus, seeing the atmosphere, it was just something that really fit me, so that's why I chose it.
Good morning y bienvenidos. My name is Maya Garcia. I'm a freshman in engineering, and I live in Lee Hall, which is the Alopecia program. And the reason I came to Virginia Tech was because of the Alopecia program, and that it really dives you into engineering, and everyone around you is in engineering. So if you need help, you can go to the girl next door, like, hey, have you worked on this problem? Also, I chose Virginia Tech because it has like the second happiest students on campus. And I am from Williamsburg, Virginia, and I will be interning at NASA Langley in Hampton, Virginia over the summer.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So I guess all you guys are involved in CEED some way or another. Maybe talk about some of your experiences with CEED and some of the things you got to do through CEED that maybe you won't be able to do through other programs. So.
Sure, so I can go first. So before even starting my career at Virginia Tech, I was part of STEP 2012. STEP is the Summer Transitional Engineering Program that the CEED office hosts every summer. So the summer before my freshman year, fall of 2012, I spent 5 weeks here at Virginia Tech taking engineering classes, math, science, chemistry, and chemistry lab, as well as living with other students that were in the program. And it was an exciting program because I got to really witness what the academic level of the courses were. I got to see what the first tests looked like in chemistry and things like that. I also met my best friends there that are currently my roommates. So it was definitely a great experience that I recommend for everyone to do. I was also part of peer mentoring, where I served as a mentor. Gabe was actually one of my mentees when he was a freshman and I was a sophomore. So that's, again, kind of how you build a lot of relationships here at Tech. Outside of that, I also served as the Vice President of External Affairs for the Virginia Tech SHEP chapter. SHEP is the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, where Gabe is now the president, so he'll talk about that more. But so I have a wide range of experience with the CEED office, and definitely if you come here and get involved with CEED, they'll make sure you're in the right place.
All right, well, I guess Joe said it all. He was my mentor in the CEED mentoring program freshman year, and then I actually served as a mentor this past fall, and I will be doing that again this coming fall. Definitely a great opportunity as a mentor to take that up, and then even as a mentee, it's great too. And then now I'm part of Society of Hispanic Engineers, like he was saying. I kind of started off getting involved because of Joe, and then did some positions, and now I'm the president for it. Basically, we just help kids get as many opportunities as they can when it comes to professional, social opportunities, academic, scholarships, all of that. So that's something that's been pretty rewarding, and something that's part of the whole UPROSM thing that you'll keep hearing about when it comes to Virginia Tech.
Part of the CEED program is the Alopecia program, which is where you live in Lee Hall with a bunch of other engineers. And I was a mentee, and that was one of the greatest experiences I could have had to help me get into tech engineering, because it is hard, but it's a good challenge that will build you into the engineer that you want to be, and that companies are looking for. It was just a good program because everyone is going through the same stuff you are, and also you have someone right there, your mentor, who can tell you things, good advice, where is a good place to study, what courses to take, and so that really helped me in going into tech as a freshman.
Cool. So we actually found a bunch of our seed programs there, so try to talk a little bit more about each one. So would ask Joe here about STEP. So would you be able to talk a little bit about like some of the things you did during STEP and that experience in general? Or...
Yeah, sure. So like I mentioned, it's a 5-week summer program. I forget how many students. I want to say about 90 students or 100, a little under 100 were in engineering. And then there's also like a college of science version of it that we partnered up with a lot. But I'll talk about STEP specifically. So it was a bunch of engineering students that were admitted to Virginia Tech that were able to come here. So it's an application. You have to apply to STEP. And then if you get accepted, then you can choose to come for 5 weeks. So you live in the dorms, which is really cool because you already get that experience. It makes packing a lot easier when you actually move in the fall semester, because a lot of students bring way too much and they can't fit it anywhere. So when I was coming in for the fall semester, my pack was a lot lighter than most people, which was good. I also knew the campus a lot more because I got to spend 5 weeks here. You eat at the dining centers, so you get like your Hoagie Passport with meal money. So we ate the D2, the buffet. We had that like every day. You probably won't eat it as much after that program because you eat it every day, but it was really good. So aside of taking classes, I mentioned you take chemistry lab, math, and an engineering class. So they're really rewarding because these are the classes you really have to take as your first semester in engineering. And the materials really kind of covered the same way. So I got to witness, what the first chemistry test looked like, or the first two actually, what the first few labs looked like. A lot of the labs I was able to kind of just, reformat when I did it back in the fall semester, but a lot of the work was kind of done. So it just makes your transition a lot easier. That's really the purpose, making engineering transition a lot easier to the school so that it's not as overwhelming. You'll have a set of friends by the time your semester starts. You'll know where campus is. You'll know not to have your lanyard hanging around out of your pocket. And all these just really rewarding things that make your transition into Virginia Tech engineering a lot easier. So I definitely recommend doing the program.
Cool. So Gabriel, as you mentioned, is one of our current peer mentors. So maybe Gabriel could talk about the peer mentoring program, some of your experiences with that.
Yeah, definitely. I guess I'll first start as a mentee, what you get out of it. I didn't actually do the STEP program, so I kind of came into school a little bit blindsided and overwhelmed by all the things that you're going to experience when you have your first weeks of school. So having that mentor who knows everything, who can help you with all that transition stuff, but then also one of their goals is to help you get professionally minded really early on. So like making your resume in your first couple weeks. I know in high school I didn't have a resume. That was one of our first events. Build a resume, learn about your elevator pitch, learn about all these things that make you ready to go to the Career Expo, which is in like September or October, really early in the semester. So we're out there, and it's such a rewarding experience. Even as a freshman, they encourage everybody to go to these career fairs because people can get internships after their freshman year. So I think that was really rewarding. Now I'm doing the peer mentoring, so now I have 5 of my own mentors each fall, and there's so many questions you'll have that we can answer, and it's just another way to give back. So it's been great for me.
Cool. And so Maya mentioned she's in the Hypatia program. It's kind of similar to peer mentoring, but kind of different. So I was hoping, Maya, you could talk a little bit about what makes Hypatia unique.
Mm-hmm. So Hypatia, what makes it different, a couple things. One, you are living with these people the entire year in Lee Hall, and above us are the Galileo program, which is male engineers. And then another thing is that in the program, it's a community. So you all are going through this together, you're living together, you all go to like the chem test together, you walk back as a big mob and talk about it. But also, there are different events that you have to do, so professional events, social events, academic events. And these events are just to help you get yourself out there, learn stuff that you need to know. So professional events would be resume reviews, upperclassmen helping you with your elevator pitch. And then the social events are really fun just because you get to just hang out with your friends. And then we watched the Super Bowl game. We drank hot chocolate for a big physics test. And I think that the community is just really great. So you can connect with other engineers because those are your study groups. for the next semester and the years to come, and also you're connecting with the people that you might be working with in the future and who want to do the same thing that you want to do or have similar career paths.
So, as you mentioned, it is a community living on campus. Can you talk a little bit about life in Lee Hall, which is sort of the dorm where we keep all these engineering communities together? Yeah.
So I came into it thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't have all these engineering classes when I was in high school, so I'd be a bunch of nerds around me, and I'm not gonna know how to build my own computer, but my roommate will. But we all do the same thing. We all breathe. We all struggle through things, but we all also overcome. So it's not just a bunch of nerds. Like we all have our outlets. We all we play sports and we have other talents, and I think that it's definitely not what some people would assume that living with a bunch of engineers would be like. So I think it's just like really any regular dorm, but when everyone has like an engineering assignment due, everyone's working on it, and everyone can help each other on it. So I think that's what really helped me get through the classes. And also Lee Hall has a really cool events lab, which is on the second floor, and they have a 3D printer, a laser cutter. They have all the materials for you to get into your engineering side if you want to make something. I 3D printed my own Totoro, super cute, and that's really good for like Christmas presents if you want. So that's how I get to know people who have those talents and who can share them with me, and I can share my talents with them.
Cool. So a couple of you guys mentioned you're involved with the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. Would you be able to talk a little bit about that and some of the opportunities that are available through the program?
Yeah, definitely. I guess I'll take that one. I'm wearing the shirt. So yeah, I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier on. There's a kind of 5 pillars of, like a name them all, but professional and academic, social, leadership. Kind of developing our members to be the best, well-rounded people they can possibly be. So when they actually go out to these career fairs, they're prepared and they can do like an amazing job at it. We actually have exclusive connections to companies, so we bring them here and like host our own info sessions, and it's really special because the connections with the recruiters that you make are really, really important, and it's hard to do that at the engineering expo when there's 1,000 kids in line and you're waiting for 45 minutes and you shake your hand for like 30 seconds and then they're on to the next one. Getting that like special time with the recruiter is something really important that we can provide. Then we also have that support group of other engineers who are also Hispanic. That's something that we're very underrepresented in that aspect. So it's good to see other people with the same background who can identify with some of the struggles that you have. Recently, one of our members just got their U.S. citizenship. They just took their naturalization oath. So like we're all able to bond together over that, which is really cool. And there's so much more to it, but I think it's something that if you don't take advantage of, it's you're definitely missing something. So
yeah, and conference too. That was a major part of me being chef. I really like traveling, and it's been really rewarding to be able to go to all these different conferences. Sometimes paying like little to none, just because there's a lot of scholarship funding. The Chef is a huge national organization that basically there's local chapters at all universities, but there's a huge national board of directors, and it's just a really, really meaningful kind of program that you can be part of. And then you can really attend the Chef conferences for life. You can be a Chef member for life. You go from undergrad to graduate to even professional. So going to the conferences, it's really fun because it's kind of like a Hispanic Latino party a lot of the times at nights. We have like a lot of dancing and dinner, but there's a lot of really cool talks as far as like how to apply to graduate school, what are the different fellowships available to us, and different things like that. So everything Gabe mentioned, plus conferences, plus a lot more. It's just really building that group of like-minded people with similar backgrounds to help each other succeed.
Yeah, I actually got some scholarship money from them, so they're great.
Yeah. Cool. So, in general, it seems like you guys have a lot of professional experiences. How has being here at Virginia Tech and being part of the CEED programs helped you with professional development and getting ready for being a professional?
That's a good question. So I could start. I think the STEP program was just really like. I feel like it got me to skip a lot of those transitional steps. I know I keep talking about that, but it really helped me like coming freshman year, like not worry about like where my classes are, how to make friends, and things like that, but really focus on getting involved. So I remember getting involved in SHEP immediately because I heard about it in high school. And then sophomore year, I was, I applied to be a mentor, and then Gabe became one of my mentees. So it's really just like, can you get yourself to the point where you're comfortable with your, what you're here for, which is your studies and your degree, to the point where you can, focus on that, but also take the time to focus on all the different programs and initiatives they have here. Whether you want to do research, you want to do internships, co-ops, do you want to do any of these mentoring programs, Greek life, like there's incredible how many opportunities are here. I would say we haven't even touched probably like 20% of them by the time we graduate, which sucks, but at the same time it makes you kind of exciting because everyone gets a unique, diversified kind of experience coming out of Virginia Tech. So all these programs really help you shape into, I guess, a leader or whatnot, for lack of a better word, but really who you want to become in life, whether it's an industry or if you want to go to graduate school, whatever. Just the networking that comes with it is just really amazing.
I can add to that. I think all these programs we're talking about do a really great job of, on paper you're going to be very polished, you're going to be ready to go. But there's like another element that, I guess you don't really see. And I kind of remember this from when I did a rotation with GE in the past. I was like talking to my manager, and he's like, whenever I see a Virginia Tech guy, they all seem to have like something different. They have this like kind of welcoming like persona, or this like inclusive personality, and it's just something that's kind of like hokey wide. Like everybody has that kind of personable character, and people notice that, and professionals notice that, and that's something that's going to be very, very important when you're working full time. It's not just having the polished resume and having a list of things. It's about like who you are, and I think Virginia Tech does a really good job of building you into a person of like really good character, and I think that's something that's important too.
I think they said it really well, but I'd like to add again that it's all about what you know, who you know, and also what your comfort zone is and getting you out of your comfort zone. I have a pretty big comfort zone, and then when I came to Tech and I'm part of the CEED program, they told me everything that I needed to know immediately, so I skipped the whole, oh my gosh, I need a resume, oh my gosh, I need a cover letter, and they were there, and I had everything prepared, so when I went to the expo, I was ahead of a lot of other students who didn't even know an elevator speech was required. And so that really helped me, grow more and grow faster, so I can get ahead in my internship. That's really exciting for me because a lot of freshmen don't get internships the summer following, and I'm just really excited to get in the real world and figure out what exactly I want to do. And also, another thing is that you don't know what you don't know. So you're not going to know that Sheep Business, and you're not going to know that they have great relationships with different companies like GE, which I love. And you're not going to figure that out until you branch out and you learn about these things. And CEED has everything right there to say, hey, did you know that you should join a design team to help you build your skills as a team, and also just like technical skills? Hey, did you know that there are all these programs where you can get professionally more involved? So I think that was something that really, really is important for any engineer, just to figure out what you don't know.
Pretty cool. And so, as a member of like Hypatia as well, we have a whole committee of upperclassmen students who plans professional development type of events. Would you be able to talk about some of those opportunities available to members of our communities? Or
as a freshman, you can decide if you want to be part of the community again sophomore year, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm actually part of the professional committee for next year. And so some of the things that got me interested in that was that they sometimes bring in companies just for people involved in Galopecia. So GE actually came for an exclusive time with Galopecia students, figuring out if they would be great at their company. DuPont came and they hosted a competition, so we had to build a boat and put it in water, and it was out of like household objects. So I made a boat out of aluminum, and I had to hold the heaviest weight. And that was something just communicating with companies, which is really important. Other things that include resumes, making sure the resume looks good. Is it geared toward where you want your company to look for? Elevator speeches, how to dress for an interview, how to dress for the expo, how to do a good phone call interview. That's something I need to do with Dominion. Etiquette when you're having a meal with a company. That was all really important. Also, there's this thing called Minute to Win It. So you have to, you have like 30 seconds to look at an object and 30 seconds to like sell it to a company. And that's just like a fun skill builder and communication builder. And like you don't really think about professionalism as like broad as it is until you get involved and you really figure out what you have to do. And I think the program definitely made me more prepared.
That's cool. So you also mentioned the Engineering Expo, which is a kind of a cool opportunity here at Virginia Tech. Would anyone be able to sort of talk about Engineering Expo and some of their experiences there? Or?
Yeah, so it's very overwhelming. Definitely, if you weren't a part of any of these programs, I can imagine it'd be even more overwhelming. It's basically they take a huge room, actually multiple rooms in our student center, and there's hundreds of companies come and visit, and they have their own booth, and they're collecting resumes and offering internships and full-time offers. So, you kind of learn how kind of big of a deal Virginia Tech is when it comes to like engineering, when all these big name companies are out there looking for us to fill their spots. But I mean, I guess I've been to Expo every year, and it's been something that you should do. Even as a freshman, you come in, you don't really have that full page resume with every single line filled, but getting your name out there and shaking hands with as many companies as you can as early on as you can was very, very valuable for me, and that's what's made it easier year after year to just go back, and then you start seeing familiar faces with all the recruiters. So I think Expo is an awesome time. I like it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And also like Expo is like the engineering career fair, and then in the spring you have the Cameo career fair. So basically you get a career fair each semester, and then you also have the university-wide career fair. And then even some departments within engineering have their own career fair. So computer science, my department has our own career fair, which companies just come to hire CS majors. So it's really cool because then it's like, less people, less competition, and almost really the same amount of companies. It's insane. But I know Civil also has their own career fair. So a lot of these different departments have their own career fair. So it even gives you a lot more options to kind of explore opportunities. And then regarding the I guess getting to know the recruiters, like I remember freshman year I talked to Microsoft. And then obviously, big name company, and then I was like a freshman. But when I came back sophomore year, she knew my name, like the recruiter did. So that's just really rewarding that you kind of can build those relationships, and then I immediately had an interview for that sophomore year. So remember that while your goal is to get an internship or some sort of experience over the summer, that's not the only thing you should be focusing on. Building the networking and who as you mentioned earlier, is very important and pivotal in your career success.
Cool.
My Expo experience was a positive experience, and a lot of freshmen don't feel a little intimidated just because I don't have any experience. But if you have the confidence, if you have the will to go forth and just shake someone's hand, that's really important because then you kind of get over the initial oh my gosh, how do I shake their hand? Are they gonna ask me these questions I don't know? I think it's really important. And also, when I went to the Expo, I was going to say, okay, I may not get an internship, but I'd actually like to figure out what these companies are looking for. And I was in between chemical engineering and mechanical engineering. And I actually talked to these companies saying, hey, what kind of stuff do chemical engineers do? What kind of stuff do mechanical engineers do? And that really, really, really helped me with my process of deciding which one. And I'm actually going with mechanical engineering. And after talking to GE and talking to Marathon Petroleum, that really helped me make that decision because they want to help you figure out what you want to do because they're trying to get really good engineers, and we're the engineers from Virginia Tech who are going to make the world a better place.
Yeah, and just to add one more thing, a lot of people are intimidated by it, but a lot of these guys are Hokie alumni too, so you can kind of, they were in your shoes one year, they understand all the stuff that you're going through, so thinking about that is, it kind of helps you get through the whole intimidation factor, just have a conversation with them, because they're people too, so.
And that's another reason to get involved with programs and design teams and stuff like that, because a lot of those people go off to work for these companies and come back and recruit, and you already know, Billy, James, or whatever, and it's not even really scary to talk to them. It's hey, how's work going? Oh yeah, here's my resume. It's a lot more casual. So going back to that, who stuff.
Pretty cool. So we're gonna shift gears here a little bit and sort of want to talk about what type of resources are available to help out students, not just freshman year, but throughout college, and sort of how have you taken advantage of those? Or,
Sure. So I remember freshman year, they I forget who hosted, but there's like Virginia Tech like generic wide like tutoring programs that are like 1,000, 2,000 level, I think, up to 3,000, maybe not, maybe it's just up to 2,000 level courses. So freshman, sophomore courses are basically there's like these paid tutors that have like I guess quote unquote office hours or blocks of time so you can go to, and you can literally ask them any questions about that subject because they've taken the class or are majoring in chemistry or whatever. So I remember taking advantage of those freshman year for a few courses. Outside of that, it's really like you want to make friends of everyone, like with people in your major, in your department, because they might have like old tests, or they might have old homework, or they might have had the same professor. Maybe there's one professor that teaches the same course every single semester, every single year. So you kind of like learn the ins and outs of the class. So there's a lot more than just like tutoring. There's just like good advice as far as like what classes to take, what classes not to take for your electives. Lastly, I can speak for computer science specifically. We have what's called TAs, which is teaching assistants. So I've served as a TA for our data structures course for 2 semesters now. So we have office hours, like, we work about 10 hours a week, and students come that are in our class and basically ask us questions about the project or, CS in general or whatever they're struggling with that's specific to that course. And we basically have TAs for every single course in the CS department, which is, rewarding because you ever struggle with anything and you can't talk to the teacher, there's a student there to help you out.
Yeah, definitely those office hours have helped me so much. Instead of staring at a homework problem for 2 hours, you can just, talk somebody through it, and maybe just, asking them the right question can help you get to that answer. And also your professors are a good resource. They hold office hours as well, and they actually want to help you, even though sometimes it doesn't seem like it when they give you a hard test, but they actually want to help you succeed. So professors, there's all your formal ways of getting resources here. There's the academics like center or career center on campus where they can you can make an appointment for free and they'll like look over your resume. You can learn. You can go to like workshops for academic help, how to like make a planner, how to organize yourself, how to study efficiently. There's so many things you can learn about, and all the resources are there like right on campus. So it's really easy to find stuff to do. There's counseling center. If you're going through something, all of that's for free as well. So definitely something to take advantage of. I think that's probably one of the biggest regrets people have is when they they look at all these resources but never actually ended up taking them. So definitely advice like just go out and reach out to as many people and get as much help as you can because it's what's going to get you ahead of a lot of other people who don't do that.
No one gets to engineering alone. It's okay to ask.
Collaborate to graduate. That's what I always say. They said really well. There's academic resources, there's freshman resources, and then there's just emotional resources. I've gone to counseling just to figure out, hey, I'm a little intimidated by these classes, and it's like everything, the freshman 15, what's my advice, and like I was a little nervous to go there, but you kind of just gotta put yourself out there and say, hey, I need help. Just get over your pride. Like, hey, this is something I want to improve on. How could I improve? And Gallup program has the academic committee, and they have academic resources. They have tutoring hours. They also have like review sessions for big tests that are coming up, like that everyone has. And they have like study groups, and you can get involved in like a place where everyone study. And there are also resources for nutrition and for health, which is really important that sometimes you forget because you're just like studying, and you're eating too much, or you like forget to eat, and that's just something that you should focus on. There's also like free fitness week, which is actually really cool. So McComas, the gym here, and War Memorial, the other gym, they hold a week of free fitness classes, so things to get involved in, and also a nutritionist is there for you if you want to talk about that. And that's actually what I went to, including Zumba, which you should try. Very fun. And so I think the resources are definitely something, like you said, if you don't know about them and then you find out later, you're like, oh, I wish I really could have got to that. So it's definitely something you should get involved in.
Pretty cool. So you mentioned design teams. We'll talk a little bit about design team opportunities here, as well as maybe some with the Galileo Hypatia community, some of the design opportunities available through that.
I'm not is it?
No.
Well, I can start with like alopecia team. So they have the Invents Lab on the second floor, and so they have all these big machines that are really expensive that are available to you that wouldn't be available in other places. And there's also the Frith Lab, which is another lab with really expensive machines and materials that are available for you. And Frith Lab is in Randolph, and so you can go to these places and make cool objects and things, and just figure out, oh, I never knew a 3D printer could do this. Oh, I never knew you could put this stuff together and make that work. My friend made a prosthetic arm using the materials in the Invents Lab, which was amazing. And on the design team, I actually got involved with Sailbot, which is an autonomous sailboat in the Ware Lab, which is next to Turner. And that is a fantastic way to just really get involved and figure out, wow, I don't know as much as I should know, or as much as I know all these other people. And it was a good experience just because these upperclassmen are just so smart, so like personable, and they want to help you. You know, one of the people on the team helped me with one of my engineering projects. You know, they're like a senior and I'm a freshman. And so on the design team, I was on the mechanical team. And so we like made the cart for the sailboat, and we figured out other mechanical parts for the boat. And that's just an amazing way to get involved and just like grow immensely and grow your skills. Because you know, when you're not doing something like engineering, like technical, then you're not really like growing a lot of those technical skills. So I definitely suggest if you really like that stuff, there are so many design teams that you can get involved in, and just why not?
And CEED hosts the O show at the beginning of the semester where they bring in all the design teams, and it's really cool just seeing them bring out the Formula SAE, like the cars, or the HEVT. I think they're taking the engine out of a Camaro and doing something with that, which is really cool too. I mean, there's so many design teams. There's a wind turbine, and they're doing really, really cool stuff. And it's just another way to get involved.
Yeah. I guess the one last thing I would say is that the Virginia Tech, I guess we have so many mottos, but another one is just like hands-on, minds-on. So we really want our students to, yeah, we learn theory and all these things like in the classes and do problem sets and stuff. But at the end of the day, like, have you actually built something with your hands? Have you worked on something that's tangible? Have you created something? Have you engineered something? And that's really where these design teams come. And it seems kind of like scary because like, you know, they're, you know, messing with real cars or whatever. But, you know, just remember those students started somewhere too, you know, not knowing things. So even if you can't, a lot of the teams I think are like very like exclusive. Like you have to like be in the team for like, you know, like a year or two helping out before you can actually be on like the main team or whatever. But even just getting involved and just like again, that's another way of networking and just like picking up an extra set of skills. So if you find yourself at your dorm, you know, playing video games or doing things and having too much free time, then you know you're missing out on a lot of opportunities here. So just keep that in mind.
So what type of leadership opportunities are available through like CEED or on campus in general, and how have you taken advantage of those? Or?
I mean, there's over, I think it's 700 clubs on campus, so and each of them probably has some kind of leadership board that you can get involved with. So multiply it by 700, there's going to be a lot of leadership positions available. And for me, I didn't even know that I wanted to be a leader. I guess through mentoring and through Joe and having other people around you kind of push you to do something that you might not be comfortable with. There's so many leadership opportunities that you can take, and I think it's just another way that you can push yourself to grow, and another way you can make an impact on the campus. I know Virginia Tech, we always emphasize giving back and doing that in as many ways as we can. So I think that's a really great opportunity as well.
Yeah, and like when you think of leadership, don't think of it as just like what to put on your resume so you can get a job, but really like what kind of difference do you want to make? What kind of impact do you want to leave at Virginia Tech or even in someone's life? So if there isn't something here that you're really passionate about, I think it takes like 3 people to make a club or something like that. Or if you're an engineering leader, you can talk to Dr. Watford, who introduced herself at the beginning. She's like the best resource here for like CEED programs. Like if you have an idea for something, like I'm sure mentoring came out of someone's idea, like STEP was probably someone's idea. So funding, like don't worry about those kind of things. If you have a real like purpose not in life, but like just like here at Virginia Tech, there's a way for you to kind of achieve that. So just keep that in mind. But as far as like actual leadership positions, I mean, like with STEP, the program I did, like my best friend Zawad, who's my roommate now, ended up coming back after his freshman year to be a STEP mentor. So we did STEP together in 2012, and in 2013 he was like an RA mentor. For this thing called Dean's Team, we're basically like the student recruiting group at Virginia Tech College of Engineering. So we have like information sessions Monday through Friday at 11:15 a.m. We travel to different places. We're basically like the students that represent the college. So it's that's another kind of leadership experience of how to get involved. And if you really love your school, you really love your department or the College of Engineering, you want to help out and make sure people want to come here. So there's just a ton of different things with Galopecia, and they have what is it? You guys have like the leaders, and then like the leaders,
Yeah,
right? Like, there's like
mental liaison.
different hierarchies with professional organizations like SHEP, Gay being president. With Greek life, there's really just like, what kind of difference do you want to make when you get here? That's really the leadership calling you want to follow.
In Scouts, we really emphasize a thing called servant leadership, and that's all about, what can I do to help other people around me and to help them grow as I grow. And I think Virginia Tech just hits that spot on with UPROSM and also leading the future. And so I think, like you said, Galopecia you can be a mentor for other people, and that's being a servant leader. You can be a mental liaison and keep just rising up and being in charge of a committee. And then there's just so many clubs you can get involved in. And also you can really take something that you were good at in like high school and like bring that in to college and like join the club and then become a leader or just like the expert on that and lead other people to further growing their team.
And also we have like Relay for Life, which is like one of the biggest events. I think.
You have the largest collegiate relay.
We have a big event in a few weeks, and if you don't know about these, you can look them up. But like big event, it's like a day of like surfing. So from like 8 a.m. to noon, a bunch of Hokie students basically sign up for projects that are like locals nearby that live around here that basically a tree fell down. Obviously they can't move it, so they might need a bunch of help, or they have a huge yard, or they want to install whatever. So it's just like a really rewarding experience, and you also get to meet like people that are from this area and learn from them. The group I worked with last year, the family who helped out, like they were engineers, like here. They went to Virginia Tech and then they loved it so much they came back and like settled down here. So I don't know, it's just like, I think leadership is really embodied in the Hokie Nation. And I'm sure when you come here, if you come here, you'll witness that firsthand.
And I also think it's not even, those formal like leadership roles that you might have, like having a position or whatever. And it's just like every day, like what do you do to like make yourself a leader, whether it's like making your own study group, or maybe you're in a group project and you kind of take a more organized approach to it and you stand out as a leader. It doesn't have to be like a little piece on your resume. It could just be the way you live your life. So I think there's a lot that Virginia Tech does to build those leaders.
Pretty cool. So I think I have like one or two questions left here where we start wrapping up. So we were wondering, what is your sort of favorite memory or experience from your freshman year? Maybe a while ago, so give you a minute to think about it.
It's like a few months ago.
This is fresh.
Okay. So here's what happened. It was the first day of classes, and me and my friends, we walk out of our dorm. We're in the hall. And we're like, okay, guys, it's the first day of classes. This is exciting. We can do it. And like 3 of our mentors like come into the rooms and they have like their backpacks ready to go, their coffee in the other hand, their phone, and they're like, guys, first day of school, this is so exciting. And all of us kind of just like, oh God, it's the first day of school. And we kind of were just like we realized that college was happening, life was happening. We had to become an adult and stuff. But that was a really great memory because I came to Tech because we were like the second happiest kids on campus. And these kids were like so happy to go to statics class or thermodynamics. And they were there to help you, and everyone's there to help you. And I think that was just a really great. Can do this. They did it. I can do it. We're all in this together. And then another memory is going to D2 because I love food and they have food.
I guess I'll go next because I'm the second youngest here. I mean, first off, there's so many awesome memories I made from my freshman year. I mean, the first week coming in and we have like the Hokie High, you have orientation, you have all these spirit events that are going on. I mean, there's so much football games. I mean, football's going to be great. Hopefully, Fuente does a good job this coming year. We're all excited for that. But I think my favorite day was they actually got an internship offer for GE as a freshman. It was for a co-op, and prior to that, I guess I didn't realize the kind of potential that I had to actually do something like that. You never really hear that. So getting that offer and like realizing that, holy crap, like this is really gonna make a big impact on my life. This is something that I can, maybe this was where I'm gonna end up working, the rest of my life. That was a really great experience, and knowing that it came through the help of like Joe and the help of so many other people was just a great feeling, because I definitely did not do it on my own. So that was like a really great day for sure.
Tough to beat down. So now looking back, I remember I think the first class I went to was chemistry, and the best part about it was all the Step 2012 kids that the program I did were like in the same class, and we were like on this because it's like basically 3 huge sections of like an auditorium, and like the rightmost section was just like all the Step kids. Like as soon as I walk in, I just hear my name, like Joe, and I just look up, and it's like there's all like my friends from the summer. And then like when we sat down, like we kept yelling like whoever's like next like name came up from whoever like walked into class, and that was just like wow, like I already have like that group of people that like know me, who I am, like we're in this together kind of thing. So that was kind of just one memorable moment I just thought of. Another was I think freshman year was when we had like the Victoria's Secret like pink party. Which was this like concert that basically that the like Pink Company hosted, and it was literally like an online thing where like you just needed like the school that got the most votes or whatever. And I just remember like I think it's like in senior year of high school, like we were all like voting and things like that. People were like making like programs to like auto vote, and it was crazy. But we won, and basically we had
Was it Kendrick
who
Lamar?
performed? No, Kendrick Lamar was like at a regular concert, but no, Chitty Bang. I think it's Chitty Bang. Yeah. And it was literally on the drill field. And this was like my freshman year, so it was just like, like who gets like a free concert on their campus? Like, I just walked back to my dorm. It was just like that was just really crazy. Like, I didn't think like all this would happen so fast. And like, I think like the first week of like freshman year, everyone also gets like a viewing party. I think that's like right.
Yeah.
So like they'll get like a huge screen on the drill field, and like they'll play a movie, and anybody who wants to come can just with blankets can lay down and stuff. So I think they just make like the freshman year, like the first couple of weeks, actually really memorable. Now that I think they have a lot of events. Like the gym has like the fitness stuff.
Yeah,
and stuff
Brett
like
Paisley came.
Red Paisley, yeah, free concert.
That was
Oh
awesome.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I was thinking. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been a long ride. Sad to leave.
So
But there's been a lot of good moments since that. It's been good.
So sort of our last question here. How has your experiences in your time here sort of changed you as an individual?
That's a big one. So I just remember in high school, it wasn't until like junior year that I really like got serious about like, wait a minute, like I need to be applying to school soon, and like it just seemed like it was like the next step. It always seemed like it would just happen, but I didn't realize I had to like actually study for SAT or ACT and apply and write essays and get recommendation letters and stuff like that. So it wasn't until that it really hit me, because throughout like my first 3 years of like high school, I was really just like really focused on just like my friends, playing video games, like not really like what I wanted to do with my life. So it wasn't until senior year of high school I really like got my crap together and was able to kind of like figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I found computer science, and luckily thanks to God I got admitted to Virginia Tech and came here. But throughout my time, like I really wanted to make sure I made the most out of it, because it's 4 years, which seems a long time, but it really does. It goes by really fast. That's 3 summers to intern. So it's just like the numbers are really like it seems like it'll go by really fast. So as soon as I got here, I wanted to make the most out of it. So got involved in SHEP, got involved in peer mentoring, got involved in different clubs, did intramural sports, made friends with all my hallmates, whether they were engineering or not. That way I could have a diverse kind of group of friends. So I think it just really changed my perception on life and like what I wanted to do with it. I got more determined in like making an impact, and Gabe always tells me like how like I had a really big influence on him, and that's like really meaningful to me, because I can leave Virginia Tech knowing at least I had an impact on one person, if not more. So I guess the to not go a lot the whole like my life story, you'll get here and find yourself. I think college is really where you find yourself and like what you want to do with your life, and hopefully you find it early so you can make the most out of it and develop it by the time you leave.
Yeah, I'm a completely different person. I think each year I completely change. You know, not that I'm like changing as a person, but I'm just growing at a rate that I never thought I could before. Coming into high school, I was kind of the same way. I was like, okay, I'll do SATs. I'm doing this. I'll do well in my classes, whatever my parents are telling me to. So it's a good thing. But I think you really understand that this is like your life, and you have a really great opportunity to just do amazing things. Like in high school, I never could have seen myself like interning at like a big company and actually working on engineering things. And this past summer through Greek life, I had the opportunity to actually ride across the country on a bike, which was something else that I could talk about for hours, but just another incredible opportunity that I never would have expected myself to do in high school. I'd like to think that if my senior year was looking at myself now, they'd be happy with what they see. But it's about finding your passions. It's about figuring out who you are, what you want to do. I found my passion through SHIP, through leading people, making an impact. It's the school has had such an impact on me. It feels like I have to do something to give back, because there's so many people out there who are like me, who just kind of like wandering around and not really sure what they're doing yet. So you want to help them just get all the opportunities that I had. So I think it's just been an awesome experience so far. I'm not looking forward to leaving.
Just in the past year, a couple months, has been a positive experience in that I've grown, but I've also just had so many realizations. I always tried to expand myself professionally. Like even in high school, like I had really good grades, and I was involved in everything. I was a leader. I was involved with the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts of America, and so I was I wanted to go somewhere that had all these opportunities so that I could use all my skills that I already had, and also to grow more. And when I came to Tech, you hear it's an amazing school, but you never really realize it till you're in the thick of it and you're surrounded by all these amazing people. And when I went to a very small private school, so we had very like 200 kids, the entire high school. So there were very limited resources and limited activities. And I was kind of like at the top of my class, and I come here and it's just I just met this amazing group of people just in my own hallway. And I'm sure we're gonna be friends for life. And I met these guys through NACME, and it's an amazing experience to see like what they do, so that as a freshman you can say, okay, maybe I can do what Joe does and be a leader and be part of SHIPA, and you just figure out, okay, this is what I have to do to get to where I want to be, and it's just an amazing experience because Virginia Tech has so many positive resources and a positive environment which you feel safe and comfortable in to grow and to get ready to continue to become the person you want to be.
All right, cool. So I think that's going to conclude our panel here. We'll say thank you to our panelists. It was great just having them here. And if you have any questions, we encourage you to just check out our website, get in contact with us. If you're in the area, drop by us. We're in Hancock Hall, and we'd love to talk to you.
Yeah.